Could mind control, and in particular wireless frequencies, be used to create a puppet-like killer? What could drive your everyday person to kill? Potentially a voice inside your head posing as God. We know, after all, that weapons that can beam voices into the mind wirelessly exist and are unironically called voice of God weapons. Wired has published several articles on voice-to-skull technology, also reporting the U.S. Army pulled down the site detailing the capabilities of these weapons. There have been many mass murders where the perpetrators have said they heard voices. Of course, these killers are written off as schizophrenic. But what if there's more to it? In 2003, in a small Texas town, Deanna Laney, a deeply religious mother, tragically took the lives of 2 of her young sons and gravely injured another, believing she was following the voice of God. In Canada in 2008, Will Baker, a man tormented by insistent voices in his head that he believed were divine commands, tragically ended the life of a fellow bus passenger in a brutal attack. Baker later claimed that his voices had told him he was the 3rd chapter of the Bible, and he was to guard Earth against an alien attack. In the secure confines of the Washington Navy Yard in southeast Washington, D.C., troubled IT contractor Aaron Alexis, tormented by insidious voices he believed were emanating from extremely low-frequency government mind control devices, tragically ended the lives of 12 innocent civilians and wounded 3 others in a chaotic rampage before being fatally shot by responding police.
The Navy Yard shooting, the warning signs were there. ABC News has learned that shooter Aaron Alexis was kicked out of Navy housing just weeks before his rampage because he was raving about voices in his head.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News Aaron Alexis abruptly left a Newport, Rhode Island Navy barracks after constantly complaining that noises were coming out of his linen closet. During roughly the same time frame, Newport Naval Station police were warned by local authorities that Alexis was hearing voices and feared he was under constant surveillance by shadowy figures.
As disclosed by the FBI at the time, Alexis had engraved my ELF weapon on his gun, and they had retrieved writings where Alexis said an ultra-low frequency attack is what I have been subjected to for the past 3 months. And to be honest, it is what's driven me to this. In the town of Colchester in England, troubled teenager James Fairweather, haunted by commanding voices, tragically ended the lives of 2 vulnerable strangers in brutal stabbings in March and June 2014. He told police his voices were demanding a human sacrifice and were laughing as he was carrying out the 2 murders.
And I saw him. It was laying on the grass, like that. It was like just fast asleep. Was where he was drunk. Went up to him, stood over like that, and that. So I did him first there. And I've done it a few times. While I was doing that, my voices were laughing and laughing and laughing louder and louder. So my voices were talking to me. You need to make a sacrifice, or we're going to come and get you. You need to do it.
In January 2017, at an airport in Florida, troubled Iraq War veteran Esteban Santiago, tormented by relentless voices in his head urging him to commit acts of violence, tragically ended the lives of 5 innocent travelers and wounded 6 others in a sudden rampage. Santiago had visited the local FBI to report that his mind was being controlled by a U.S. intelligence agency and that the CIA had been making him watch ISIS videos, presumably in his head. In Maine in 2023, troubled Army reservist Robert Card, tormented by relentless voices mocking and ridiculing him, tragically ended the lives of 18 innocent people and wounded 13 others in devastating attacks on a bowling alley and a bar, before taking his own life 2 days later.
Federal police are still on a manhunt for the man accused of shooting and killing 18 people at a Maine bowling alley and bar on Wednesday night. A sister-in-law to the suspect, 40-year-old Robert Card, confirmed to the Wall Street Journal that he received 2 weeks of inpatient psychiatric treatment over this past summer as he was hearing voices. She said he started believing he could hear people say awful things about him.
More recently, 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr. murdered Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska on a subway in North Carolina. While there are no mentions of him hearing voices, he spoke to his sister after the murder, where he claimed the government had put materials in his body.
So you said something in your body did what?
The material, feel like the material using my body to stab the lady.
While there's no way to prove any of these murders were the result of V2K or psychotronic neuroweapons, for targeted individuals, the details of each case are striking. There are, however, 2 incidents where the shooters have been self-identified targeted individuals. In 2014, in Tallahassee, Florida, troubled attorney Myron May, tormented by voices convincing him he was under constant government surveillance, tragically wounded 3 innocent students in a sudden shooting spree before being fatally shot by responding police. Before the shooting, May emailed videos and letters to contacts outlining his belief in being a targeted individual.
It's with a heavy heart that I am in front of you now, kind of my last words. You see, I am a victim of covert harassment and electronic harassment and gang stalking. I'm what's called a targeted individual. As sick as this may sound, I've even had stalkers follow me into church. I would hear voices in my apartment explaining what it was that I was doing. If I went to the kitchen, they'd say stuff, oh, he's headed to the kitchen now. Or if I went to the bathroom, they'd, oh, he's headed to the bathroom. We are subjected to torture daily. Father, I ask that you forgive me my sins, all my past sins, all my present sins, and all my future sins.
Less than a week before the shooting, May asked on Facebook, "Has anyone ever been encouraged by your handler to kill with a promise of freedom?" In August 2022, in the Ohio suburbs, Stephen Marlowe, tormented by merciless voices in his head, tragically ended the lives of 4 innocent people in a devastating shooting spree, before fleeing and publishing a pre-recorded video on social media, explaining his motives as being a counterattack against mind control.
We have been attacked by this weapon our entire lives, and the attack against me personally is one of the most vicious attacks a human being has ever faced. I have tolerated the most inhumane torture in hopes that the FBI and CIA would come to my defense, but they have failed to come to my aid. My only hope is that you come to understand what has happened here. When the world realizes what has happened, there will be justice, but I cannot sit by and be a victim any longer, and I refuse to sit by and do nothing while my nieces and nephews and the rest of my family are operated on with mind control. Our thoughts are not private. It is disgusting and it is cruel. I will be launching the first counterattack against mind control in human history. I want to be very clear, this will not be an active shooting event. I will be executing some of the people responsible for activating shooters. If I can help another targeted individual fight back against telepathy, then the sacrifice will be well worth it. The most horrific weapon ever made is being used on human beings, and if you ever learn the truth, you will understand what I did here to protect myself and my family. Get this out to other TIs, other voice hearers, so the world has a chance to fight back. To my family, especially my nieces and nephews, I want you to understand that what I do here, I do for your future, and hope that you can live a life free of mind control.
If the subject doesn't know they're under attack, a weapon that wirelessly projects voices directly into their mind could be influential, especially if the voice is posing as God or promising freedom in exchange for a human sacrifice. Are wireless frequencies and directed energy weapons being used to drive people to commit acts of violence? And if so, to what end?
Repetitive messaging through people who are highly suggestible is a CIA term, can be converted into mass murders or mass shooters. It is my personal opinion that the CIA is still doing this.
People say mind control. Like, I don't imagine that somebody can shoot a beam into your head right now and make you do something specifically. I think of it more as manipulations And some people are more susceptible to those manipulations than others.
Somebody asked me, why would the CIA or whoever's doing it, why would they want to carry out shootings? And the answer is very simple. They want to disarm the population.
I'm completely convinced that they are actually Manchurian candidate type programmed individuals who are targeted and then programmed to carry out false flag operations to frighten society, frighten the public, and create public concern so that on the back of that public concern, they can bring in tighter regulations and rules, curtailing human rights and your freedoms.
Many targeted individuals testify to a manipulative nature to the torture they endure. One thing's for sure. This program is designed to drive people to the brink, where they'll do anything to make it stop, potentially even kill.